Blood spatter in the living room was mostly on the ground, according to BCA crime scene team Joe Cooksley. A black Springfield XD40 handgun, labeled as Item 1A, with a rubber hoe grip sleeve, was found cocked on the living room floor, several inches from David's left hand, according to Detective Tommy Booth. Detective Brian Bone was more specific, stating the gun was found approximately 1 foot to the south of the left side of David's body. According to the firearm worksheet, some apparent blood-like substance was found in the barrel of the gun. The worksheet also mentioned apparent rust-like material, which could have been found on one of 3 unspent cartridges in the gun. The presence of blood was found on the grip, Item 1A-1, the slide, Item 1A-2, the trigger, Item 1A-3, and the muzzle, Item 1A-4 of the gun. Item 1B is the magazine inside of the alleged murder weapon. Ridge detail blood found on the magazine was labeled as Item 1B-1. Several blood mixtures were found on the gun, specifically on the trigger, Item 1A-3, and the magazine, Item 1B-1. DNA results show blood of 2 or more individuals on the trigger, with one of those individuals being David Crowley. The blood did not match Kamel, but Rania could not be excluded as a possible contributor. 2 or more DNA profiles were found on the magazine. The major DNA profile on the magazine matched David Crowley. An estimated 99.9997% of the general population was excluded from being possible contributors, but Kamel and Rania could not be excluded. 2 cartridges were removed from the magazine and labeled as Item 1B1 and Item 1B2. Item 1C is an unspent cartridge found in the chamber of the handgun. Latent prints were not found on these 3 items. Item 1D is listed as a bore patch from Item 1, and Item 1E is listed as test-fired specimens from Item 1. Hairs and fibers found on the gun and magazine were labeled as Item 1A-5 and Item 1B-2. Latent print results revolved around 2 of 3 latent prints suitable for comparison, 1 found on the gun and 1 found on the magazine. LP1A-1 is a latent palm print on the gun. According to latent print results, no known palm prints for David Crowley were submitted or found in the BCA files for comparison to the palm print on the gun. LP1B-2 is a latent fingerprint found on the magazine. However, this too could not be tied to David Crowley due to the limited quality and quantity of information in latent print. Jennifer Kostrowski consulted with Dennis Randall about this latent fingerprint. He agreed, Kostrowski wrote. It could be 1 or 2 prints, plus that LMP was unusual, coupled with low quality makes it difficult to determine. The crime scene team found a total of 6 empty spent cartridges, Detective Bone reported. The crime scene team also found 3 bullet fragments in the carpet. According to Detective Bone, the BCA crime scene team processed the scene in detail. After the scene was processed, Bone continued, we were able to move the rug that the bodies were found on. These results did not include Item 53, which rolled out of a living room carpet on January 20th, nor did they include Item 57, which was found in the attic above the living room ceiling. The results of the laboratory firearms determined that Item 1, which is David's gun, fired items 2, 3, 9, 30, 36, and 37, which was 6 Smith & Wesson .40 caliber cartridge cases, and items 42, 43, 44, 45, 53, and 57, which were 6 bullets. Comparative examinations of Item 31 a bullet fragment, against test-fired bullets from Item 1 and Item 57 were performed with the following results. Item 57 against Item 31 showed the presence of matching features. This means that Item 1 fired 31. Examinations of items 42, 43, 44, 45, 53, 57 showed them to be consistent with bullets from Winchester PXD-1 brand cartridges. Images of a test-fired cartridge case from Item 1 were entered into the Minnesota Firearms Database. A search of the database failed to review any items that matched Item 1. If future searches of the database reveal a potential match with Item 1, your agency will be notified and further comparisons can be made. That's from the BCA 485-page document on page 31. So according to the BCA firearms report, Item 57 against Item 31 showed the presence of matching features. This means Item 1 fired Item 31. And we'll get to more of that when we talk about in our next show. We'll talk about the cartridge casings and the cartridges and the unspent rounds and Item 31, which is labeled as a bullet fragment.